This first clip is a clip from the Joe Rogan podcast, and he is basically working to prove that the abortion stance, a pro-abortion stance, is biblical. I want you to listen right now to what he says.
Mary is probably my favorite figure in the Bible, the mother of Jesus, and she is she's an oppressed peasant teenage girl living in poverty under an oppressive empire as a Jew, and she has a vision from God that she's going to give birth to a baby who's going to bring the powerful down from their thrones. God asks for Mary's consent, which is remarkable. I mean, go back and read this in Luke. I mean, the angel comes down and asks Mary if this is something she wants to do, and she says, "If it is God's will, let it be done. Let it be. Let it happen." So to me, that is an affirmation in one of our most central stories that creation has to be done with consent. You cannot force someone to create. Creation is one of the most sacred acts that we engage in as human beings, but that has to be done with consent. It has to be done with freedom, and to me, that is absolutely consistent with the ministry and life and death of Jesus. And so that's how I come down on that side of the issue.
All right, the first thing I want you to notice about what he just said right there is the buzzwords, okay? He used oppressed, he used peasant girl. Basically what he did is he painted Mary as a victim, as a class participant of a lower class, and there are people above her oppressing her. He kind of gives the DEI interpretation of the story of Mary. And then he talks about, she had to give consent. In other words, he kind of paints that in a way, and it's kind of true. Like Jesus, obviously God came down and the angel Gabriel asked Mary to partner with him. In other words, but Mary isn't God. Like, God is sovereign, and God chose Mary because he knew Mary's heart would cooperate with the divine plan that he used. But he uses this as a way to say, this is about consent. So if there isn't a consent, there isn't a desire to have a child, then abortion is justified. That's what he's saying. In other words, you can have an abortion if you are a victim, if you are oppressed. And in fact, there's freedom in that abortion if you are actually oppressed. And you can be oppressed in your mind and in your finances, in your class system, anywhere. He just paints her out to be this victim, for lack of better terms. He uses smooth talk, but this is a very dangerous, blasphemous statement. And this man is guaranteed